the class, everyone. Today we are going to continue with the badly geared batch series, where we take a look at Gear 11 Bad Batch characters and see how they stand toe to toe against other squads that you might find in Grand Arena. So today we're going to actually be going up against Padme. Padme is actually a team that I've seen a lot of people with Relic Bad Batch really take on and really be able to take out in a fantastic way. I believe there were even some reports of someone actually being able to auto them under certain circumstances. So I wanted to test this one out for myself just to see how it will go. So we do have footage here of actually a few matches. I did this against a few comps. First off, I'm going to go through the mods. The mods on these teams are really standard. One thing that I do really want to point out that's normal here, but it's very important to this counter, is both the Padmes we're going to be testing against today, they have fairly fast Padme characters, like the character Padme. Not necessarily the team is super fast, but the character Padme is fast. And I think that's really important when looking at this team as a whole, because it's really hard to get tech really fast. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking in Shock. And I've changed Shock's mods a little bit, and you guys can slow this down if you want to see your mods, but she's just slower than Echo. So my goal here is to throw up all the debuffs with Echo, and then we're going to give Tech his new turn, or a bonus turn via Shock, so that he can go in and go for his AoE stun, and we're going to see if we can control the team for there. This is a really hard team for the Bad Batch to counter. For you guys who've watched my other videos, you've seen that they're really reliant, at least at a lower gear level, on landing their debuffs and keeping them. And this actually makes the Padme incredibly hard to counter. What you guys will see right now is, to be able to get that extra turn, we actually have to shoot at someone and give them protection up. This time I went ahead and tried on General Kenobi, but this is really rough, because the Padme team, they just have so many natural cleanses in the team, and you can see there that we didn't get General Kenobi. General Kenobi has a cleanse, Padme has a cleanse, Ahsoka has a cleanse, Archer makes everyone cleanse when they get a crit, so there's lots and lots of cleansing to take out all the debuffs that we need to be able to control the team. So you can see already here that it's starting to kind of get out of hand. The enemy team is getting a lot of buffs. We don't have a really consistent way to take down their buffs either. We use the initial daze in the beginning with Echo. Maybe that's not the best move to do in the beginning. Maybe you want to do it with something else, but Padme also goes for a kick first. She doesn't go for a buff first, so it's hard to do. So we're going to go ahead and load into the same battle. That was obviously a fair. We're going to try this a little bit differently. We're going to start in the beginning like this, but instead of going for Kenobi, because he can cleanse, we're going to go for the one character that doesn't have a cleanse, and that is Jedi Anakin. So we're going to go right after him. We're going to see if we can land the stun on everyone. And again, we're really fighting potency against tenacity here. And you guys can see here as well that we didn't really manage the stun on everyone. A few of them didn't get it. And that, honestly, right there, that ruins the whole run. There is just not a whole lot you can do, because once they start to get the protection up, you don't get any more of those debuffs. You don't get exposes. You don't get the daze to keep Ahsoka from going haywire. And it really just starts to go downhill, because this team relies so much on getting their detrimental debuffs out. And if one thing goes wrong, if the enemy team gets one turn and cleanses all of them, you really have no recovery, because they will shred through your team. Different from First Order, or different from Malik, or of course the Galactic Legend, there's really no way around this team for their courage. Because once Wrecker gets hit with a big amount of courage, he's going down whether you like it or not. So really, I could see how this could work if you had like a really good timing and were consistently able to land all the debuffs. If you have like really high potency, but getting that to happen on this team, at least at Gear 11, just seems near impossible. So we're gonna go ahead and test against the 3PO team just here for funsies. These are the two most common comps I looked up for this last season in Grand Arena. Normally it's either 3PO or R2, which is fair. Those are also pretty good comps in general. So looking at both of those, we're going to go ahead and test against this. The mods are pretty similar. I think this one of the only thing that was significantly different is that this Jedi Anakin is a lot faster. One of the issues with this team and getting to be really consistent is, like I said, Padmes are generally pretty fast nowadays. And that presents an issue, because you have to have Shock in there for Tech to get his turn. Because Tech, Echo's really fast. He can get ahead of Padme pretty easily. Tech really can't. And without there not being enough buffs in the beginning, like there's some occasionally there's one or two. Actually, in this fight, you guys saw it because of 3PO there. But even then, even with our tech being able to go immediately, you guys can kind of see here that it's not enough to fully control the team, because one of the things that we were able to do against Geos and First Order as well is that if we landed stuns on at least 3 of them or 4 of them, we could swap back around with Hunter to Echo, and we could shoot down the rest of their TM with the exposes. But Padme's immune. Padme's immune to TM removal, so we don't really have that option. So you guys can see here again, this is just another fail. Like I said, I can see maybe under some type of like perfect circumstance, or if the Padme team is really badly modded and you get really good RNG, I imagine this could work. But overall, this is the counter that I have tested so far that I have liked the least. I do not like it at all. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know how well this is going to work at equal gear levels. I imagine with the non-3PO comps should be easily beatable. Because you don't have to worry about 3PO throwing up the debuffs when you crit someone. Or sorry, not throwing up the debuffs, throwing up the protection up that prevents debuffs in the very beginning. So the other ones are beatable, but I don't know how you beat a 3PO comp with this team. Maybe if you've taken someone else who has AoE buff removal. Not really sure who else could do that. Maybe this can let me know in the comments. But yeah, Gear 11, this is a no-go. So let's go into a review right now. So first off, the mods matter. This is kind of a weird thing to talk about because I'm saying the counter doesn't really work. If you're gonna try to be able to do this, let's say the enemy team doesn't have a lot of relics. Let's say they're not really modded that well. Let's say they don't really have the best comp. Your mods still need to be good because you have to go in front of them before they can start getting that courage and just preventing you from getting every single debuff that you have. Secondly, do they need a 5th? Again, they need all the help they can get. This is such an uphill battle. Having someone in there like Shock to pass them more turns, or maybe to have a buff dispel on the first move, I think that could be pretty helpful. Where does this counter stand? At least at Gear 11, it's nuanced. When we look at things and we call them a soft or a hard counter, one of the things that is important when you consider that is looking at their kits overall and thinking or seeing whether or not they are a natural counter. Is what this team naturally does effective against the enemy team? And the answer is just no. They removed Termir. Padme is immune to it. They need to constantly land debuffs. Padme has like 4 cleanses, and on top of that, she cannot get debuffs when they have protection up. So it's just not a natural counter. Do I think they could probably pull it off at higher gear levels? Or if you get the right RNG? Sure. It's not impossible, but I just don't see it as a natural counter by any stretch of the imagination. At least if 3PO's in the enemy team to really screw up your initial stuns. Because if you can get the initial stuns and you can get the debuffs rolling, as long as everything goes right, I can see you winning. But one of the issues, especially at Gear 11 with that, even if you get all that perfect RNG at Gear 11, we run into the similar problem that we ran into with Grievous. And that was, we don't really do enough DPS on individual hits from the characters. We do DPS via debuff, which is by percent. And when you start lowering everyone's percent at the same time, you start triggering Jedi Anakin's bonus turns. And then once that happens, again, they get the cleanse, and it's every other problem that I've already mentioned like 6 times now. Is it worth it? No. Again, if you're eventually going to get the relics, I'm sure you can make it work. But if you're looking at you need a Padme counter right now, and you're looking at investing in Gear 11 Bad Batch to do it, you are going to be thoroughly disappointed. At least from from my testing and what I've seen. But can't win them all. That is what it is. If you guys do want to see the Bad Batch counter, other stuff, or see me before the next video, you can catch me on Twitch every Thursday, Monday, and Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But until then, or until the next video, stay awesome.